Bass is an important part of any beat, so in this video, I'm going to go ahead and sample a bass from a record and put that bass inside of our beat. Check it out. What's up everybody, my name is MatthewCreating with MPCsampling.com, bringing you the best tips and tools for the MPC Live. And on this channel, I do setup videos, tutorials, and sampling videos about the MPC. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. Welcome back to the MPC sampling series. So in the previous couple of videos, I went ahead and sampled some drums and some piano, put it in a beat. So in this video, I'm going to go ahead and sample a bass, put it into the beat. Let's just get right into it. So I think we're at a good point in our beat to put a bass in there. I have this record here. The last song here is actually a bass. It has a bass intro. I want to put that on the turntable, go into menu, go into sampler. So when we're in sampler, we could go ahead and monitor the samples coming in. Now I have a whole video on how to set up the turntable. So click over here if you want to see that video. It's going to take you to that video to set up your turntable with the MPC. So I'm not going to cover that whole process, but I am going to record this sample. So what I'm going to do is place this needle. All right, so right there. That's all we need. Take that off of there. I'm going to go ahead and name this sample bass, do it. I want to assign it to this empty program that, the MPC creates when we start a new project. And I want to assign it to pad A1. All right, keep it, then go to menu and then sample edit. So once you're in sample edit, you can kind of fine tune, get the pieces that you want and use those for your bass sound. So I just want one strike of the bass notes. So if you listen, again, if you use pad 10, we got a few sounds to choose from. I think this one right here has the longest sustain and there's less different things going on with it. So I think I'm going to choose this one. And what I mean is there's no extra kicks in there. There's no extra different sounds or different bass notes. It's just one long note. Okay. So I'm going to, go into that. So I move my start and end points. Now, if you go to your fourth Q link, you have the ability to zoom. So I like to use the fourth Q link when I'm in here making quick chops. And then, or your fourth Q link group or row right here. And then tapping on start enables you to move the start and end point, and then you could zoom right in. And the more you actually zoom in to your sound, the more detailed that this data dial is going to be. You can actually use this as well, your plus and minus, if you don't want to put wear in your data dial, which is very handy. Okay, now you could zoom in and listen to that. Now, if you don't want that to follow along, you could click here, turn auto scroll off. So we can see the beginning of this. All right. I want to turn zero snap on. I might leave it there now. At the end of it, I can hear there's like the next note is coming in or something like that. So I want to pull that back. Still hear it. That's it right there. Maybe a little bit back. So now I know that that bass note is nice and clean. So what I'm going to do is process it and then discard the beginning and end of that. Zoom out. All we have is this one strike. Now, up until now, I've been normalizing all these samples. Now, it's not necessarily necessary to normalize your samples. And when you normalize it, it's kind of like if you think about a mixer and you think about the gain knob on the mixer, when you normalize it, you're putting that gain knob to where your input is hitting zero and it's not going past zero. Okay, so it might be a little lower than zero at points, but it's not going to pass zero. So that's what normalizing it does. And it gives you a really loud signal to come into your program, in through your effects. And then finally it goes into your, your level. So that's why I've been normalizing it. You don't need to normalize it. In fact, with certain sounds, it's probably better not to. But I have been, it's just an old habit. So I might actually do it on this one. So if I process it, I can normalize it. You hear how loud it makes it? I want to undo it. I'm just going to keep it off for this example, just to show you that you don't necessarily have to normalize it. All right, so now I'm going to go back to my main, find an empty track, pick that program 01. There's that bass note. I'm going to edit this to bass. All right, this way I can just simply keep track of what program this is. So as it is, we only have one note to work with, but there's ways to get different notes. One way to do that is to push 16 level. Now we can tune this one note higher or lower. All right, so this pad 4, you can look right here, it says original pad is 4, is the original note. Now if I go lower than 4, it's gonna pitch down the tune of that note. And if I go higher than pad 4, it's gonna pitch up the note. All right, so now we can play tunes to it. Now I think I want to go even lower with the bass. So if I put the original pad, up higher. So for example, pad 8, which I could do that by changing it here. Now I have even lower notes to work with. So I'm going to use something like that. I'm going to keep it nice and simple for this example. I'm going to push overdub. I'm going to push play start. It's going to give me the count in. All right, so I programmed a bass sequence in there. So pretty cool. Now I'm just using my ear. I don't really know what the tune of this bass is. I don't know what the tune of the sample is. I'm literally just using my ear and I'm saying, okay, well that sounds kind of nice with it. There's no science to how I'm tuning this. Okay, so that bass is a really rich bass. It's got a lot of tones to it. So like as far as the timbre of it. So what I'm going to do is go in and filter off some of the high ends and make it sound a little bit more just, lo-fi bass. So I think I'm going to use the air filter, select that, go into here. There's a preset that's actually very low pass. So if you listen to this preset, it sounds more bassy to me, more raw, just a raw bass. So I'm going to bring the frequency, some of the frequencies back in. All right, so here's kind of the original. Cut some of it off. All right, and I'm going to use the overdrive to give it a little bit more character, even though it's pretty good what it is. And it also increases the volume. You can see we're increasing the decibels. Just, a little saturation. Bring that frequency down. Now you do have a resonance option here as well. You kind of mess with that. So you get to decide, okay, do I want it more colorful, a little less colorful, more bright sounding or more flat sounding? I kind of want it flatter sounding, so I'm cutting off a lot of frequencies, but I still want it to have volume and I still want it to have drive. So that's why I increase the overdrive. And there you go. I think that's sounding pretty good right there. I'm gonna leave it at that. If you want more tips on sampling, head over to mpcsampling.com. I got some tips over there for you. And if you want more videos about the MPC, remember to subscribe to this channel. If you want to see the previous videos in this playlist, click or tap the screen over here. It's going to take you to the playlist so you can catch up with the rest of the videos and see the future videos about this beat. My name is Matthew. Continue creating music, and we'll talk soon.